Dinar shift. This is the breaking story that many in our community have waited years to hear, a development that is not based on speculation, but on visible structural changes unfolding within the world's major financial institutions in 2025. For over a decade, the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong have been subjects of intense focus for a dedicated global community, often faced with skepticism and dismissed by mainstream finance. The common refrain was that these currencies were stalled, static, and unlikely to see any meaningful movement in the global market. Yet today, that narrative is being irrevocably rewritten. We are observing something unprecedented. Major banks, global currency processors, and the critical Forex networks are actively and officially engaging with both the Dinar and the Dong in ways they have consistently avoided in the past. This isn't just talk, this ICE activation of formal pathways, signaling a genuine and significant shift in how the international financial system recognizes and processes these currencies. The implications of this are enormous, creating an immense wave of focused energy and attention across the holder community, suggesting that the long-anticipated movement is now being expressed in concrete operational terms. The initial indicators of this momentous financial shift began to surface this morning, manifesting as tangible activity within key banking systems and their associated digital verification platforms. These systems, which are the backbone of all global currency exchange, started displaying signs of active processing for the Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong. This activation came as a surprise to many observers, primarily because while both currencies hold official recognition on the global stage, they have historically lacked smooth, standardized, and most importantly, transparent pathways for large-scale authorized exchange. Long-term holders of these currencies are intimately familiar with the past challenges: the rejection of large-denomination notes, the absence of clear, consistent exchange procedures, the reliance on ambiguous unofficial rates, and the constant doubt fueled by a lack of institutional transparency. The difficulties often overshadowed the potential, making genuine exchange an opaque and frustrating experience for many. However, what unfolded today represents a fundamental departure from that history. Internal communications within the banking sector began circulating quietly among staff, detailing new operational memos and directives. These instructions were not speculative, they were procedural guides focused on preparing personnel for the handling and processing of authorized exchanges, specifically involving the larger, higher-value denominations of the Dinar and Dong. This action is crucial because when a bank updates its internal day-to-day operating procedures, it transcends mere rumor and becomes a quantifiable action that proves infrastructure is being mobilized for actual transactions. Even more significant is the reported synchronization of this activity with major Forex channels. When the two central pillars of global finance, the traditional banking system and the foreign exchange networks, begin to align their procedures for specific currencies, it sends a clear and undeniable signal of liquidity being established. Liquidity is the precursor to movement, and movement, for holders of the Dinar and Dong, is the signal of a decades-long financial evolution finally reaching a visible stage. The sheer magnitude of this movement cannot be overstated, particularly when viewed against the backdrop of the past 15 years. During this period, both the Dinar and the Dong existed in a peculiar state of financial limbo. They were formally recognized by international bodies, yet many major global banks were unwilling to commit to actively supporting them through standardized exchange mechanisms. Acquiring the currencies was relatively simple, but attempting to exchange them back at an official, transparent rate was frequently an ordeal defined by confusion and institutional ambiguity. This lack of policy clarity and bank reluctance created a substantial barrier to legitimate, large-scale participation. Now, the new updates are effectively dismantling this old landscape. Verified, high-volume Forex channels are demonstrating a sharp uptick in activity directly related to these two currencies, a key indicator that the global market is no longer treating them as isolated or dormant assets. Instead, these currencies are being actively integrated, tracked, and managed as legitimate players within the broader global financial ecosystem. This shift in operational treatment is the engine that drives a transformation in market perception. When major institutional barriers are removed, investor confidence naturally improves, and the entire process gains essential transparency. This newfound institutional comfort allows banks to participate without the historical fear of exposure to unverified or purely speculative activity. Crucially, this coordinated action opens a secure, calm, and officially sanctioned door for authorized holders to proceed with their exchanges. Moreover, the consensus among financial analysts is that today's visible shift is merely the leading edge, the first tangible wave, of a much more comprehensive and far-reaching structural change that is yet to fully unfold. Focusing first on the Iraqi dinar, the evidence suggests this currency is experiencing the most aggressive initial movement. Reliable reports indicate the tiered exchange programs are being actively set up across prominent global banking regions. These structured programs are designed to accommodate and process large-denomination dinar notes, specifically the 5,000, 10,000, 25,000, and even the 50,000 notes through secured and verified digital systems. This specific focus on large notes is exceptionally important. For many years, holders of these high-value notes faced outright rejection or constant deferral when attempting an exchange, often being told the bank lacked the necessary clearance or the verification tools to handle such volumes. That consistent barrier is now demonstrably lifting. Banks are receiving internal mandates to prepare staff, digital authentication tools are being updated, and managers are undergoing training on the new procedural frameworks to ensure smooth operations. Perhaps the most compelling detail concerning the dinar is the reported preparation for the implementation of contracted rates. These are specialized exchange rates designed exclusively for verified holders proceeding through official, authorized banking pathways. The existence of these rates strongly implies structured liquidity. Unlike random, volatile, and disorganized buying and selling, structured liquidity indicates a planned, organized financial movement that is controlled and predictable. When liquidity gains this level of organization, the entire exchange process becomes safer, smoother, and more orderly for all parties involved. The dinar community has endured a prolonged wait for genuine signs of progress, and today, those signs are not emanating from forums or internet whispers. They are operational mandates coming directly from within the foundational systems of the global banking world, providing concrete evidence of institutional readiness. Turning our attention to the Vietnamese Dong, this currency has long been noted by many analysts as potentially undervalued, with predictions that its strength would grow commensurate with Vietnam's ongoing economic stabilization and infrastructural development. While economic progress has certainly occurred, the Dong's international exchange channels have remained limited until this moment. The newest reports confirm that the Dong is experiencing an accelerated surge in activity within verified Forex systems, mirroring the movement of the dinar. This means that bank portals, exchange platforms, and sophisticated currency verification networks are beginning to track, display, and process Dong transactions with a new level of consistency and visibility. Just as with the dinar, the larger denominations of the Dong are reportedly being prioritized, and bank staff are being instructed on the proper protocols for handling the serially exchange requests. This is a monumental development for the Dong, which has often been treated as a secondary consideration in broader currency discussions. Now it is moving in tandem with the dinar, a coordinated action that analysts are describing as agile currency wave. When two currencies achieve synchronized, global recognition and increased processing capability, they effectively amplify each other's impact. This simultaneous movement increases collective liquidity, enhances international visibility, and naturally stimulates demand across the Forex spectrum. For dedicated Dong holders, this represents the fruition of years of patiently monitoring economic development and anticipating a change in the currency's international standing. The current coordinated institutional action provides the clearest indication yet that this anticipation is finally translating into tangible operational reality within the world's major financial centers. Given the clear and widespread evidence of this financial momentum, a crucial question for holders is simple: how best to prepare for the process ahead? The essential first step is the verification of holdings. Any individual possessing dinar or dong must now take the time to ensure every note is authentic, clean, and stored in a safe, secure manner. Banks and authorized exchange centers maintain strict policies against accepting damaged, excessively worn, or potentially fraudulent notes, meaning that organizing and preparing your currency now will prevent significant delays later in the exchange process. This attention to detail is the foundation of a smooth and successful transaction. The second critical step in preparation involves the methodical grouping of notes by denomination. This may seem like a minor detail, but it is of significant practical importance because authorized banks are structured to process large denomination notes, such as the 25,000 and 50,000 dinar notes, through different, more specialized pathways than smaller bills. By pre-sorting your currency, you simplify the bank's internal procedures and dramatically expedite your transaction time. The third, and arguably most vital, instruction is to adhere strictly to official, authorized channels. As currencies enter periods of rapid movement, the market often becomes saturated with unofficial brokers and unverified platforms attempting to take advantage of the confusion or urgency of holders. Avoiding these risky avenues and only working with fully authorized banks or legitimate government-sanctioned exchange programs is an absolute necessity for security and legitimacy. Fourth, holders must take the time to assemble all necessary supporting documentation. This includes government-issued identification, comprehensive records of purchase, and whenever possible, a detailed record of the currency's serial numbers. The greater the degree of organization a holder presents, the more swiftly and smoothly the verification and exchange process can be completed. This preparation demonstrates legitimacy and compliance to the banking institutions. Finally, maintaining a state of calm and informed awareness is paramount. Exchange rates, processing schedules, and specific procedural requirements are likely to evolve rapidly as the process unfolds. Preparation, in this context, is not just wise, it is a decisive factor that can directly and positively influence the ultimate value and ease of your exchange experience. Reports from internal sources indicate that a significant number of major banks have already been comprehensively briefed on the protocols for managing these upcoming exchanges. This confirms that institutions are not merely reacting to external events. They are proactively preparing their infrastructure. Digital systems are undergoing necessary upgrades, sophisticated currency verification machines are being calibrated to recognize the features of the Dinar and Dong, and specific exchange limits and parameters are being programmed into the software. Furthermore, bank managers are being instructed on how to execute large-scale transactions efficiently, with a focus on reduced delays and enhanced security. This is the concrete institutional evidence that the holding community has long desired, proof that banks are preparing for action rather than actively avoiding it. A particularly noteworthy detail emerging from these internal briefings is the formal introduction of contracted rates. These are special, pre-agreed-upon rates accessible only to verified holders who utilize authorized banking channels. They are specifically designed to serve two primary functions. First, to shield holders from sudden, chaotic market fluctuations during the initial exchange window, providing a crucial element of stability, and second, to assist banks in managing liquidity by ensuring that early exchanges are controlled, organized, and not subject to volatile, panicked activity. This mechanism benefits all parties, protecting the bank's financial integrity, the stability of the currency, and most importantly, the holder's transaction. The implementation of this level of structured financial management is a clear indicator that the system is entering the beginning stages of a large-scale, coordinated financial movement. Understanding the practical process of an exchange at the bank can help alleviate uncertainty. The transaction begins with a mandatory authenticity check of your notes. Banks utilize advanced official databases and verification tools to confirm the legitimacy of every bill, meticulously inspecting the print quality, the proprietary ink, the paper's texture, and all unique security features embedded within the currency. Following this verification, standard procedure requires the presentation of your government-issued identification. This is a requirement for all foreign currency transactions, particularly those involving large sums, and banks may also request proof of ownership or purchase records to establish clear provenance. After the notes pass the initial verification, they may be held for a brief processing period. This is standard operating procedure and typically spans a few business days, allowing the bank to complete all necessary authentication steps and finalize the applicable exchange rate. Once this comprehensive verification is complete, the exchange rate valid at the time of processing is applied, and the resulting funds are transferred directly into your designated account. This structured, methodical process is intentionally designed to ensure the transaction is legitimate, transparent, and legally protected. By understanding that this process is now being designed for efficiency and security, holders can approach the bank visit with confidence, recognizing that the new systems are intended to be smooth and orderly, not complicated or stressful. In preparing for the exchange, a key component is establishing a clear timeline. The first step is to contact authorized banks directly to confirm their participation in the new exchange programs, as not every institution will be fully prepared on the first day. Once participation is confirmed, the second step is to schedule an exchange appointment. Due to the complexity and time required for verification of large-denomination notes, such as the 25K and 50K dinar bills or high-value dong notes, most banks will mandate appointments to manage processing flow effectively. The third step is the custody and verification phase, which involves placing your notes with the bank for authentication over what may be a few business days. The fourth and final step is the receipt of funds after the verification has been successfully completed and the correct rate has been applied. While some holders express concern about leaving their currency in the bank's custody, this is a customary practice for large international currency exchanges, essential for documenting and protecting every stage of the transaction. The entire timeline is structured to minimize risk, eliminate the potential for fraud, and ensure absolute accuracy in the calculation of value. Holders who plan ahead and diligently follow the official published instructions are strongly positioned to experience a smooth and efficient exchange from beginning to end, turning years of patience into a streamlined financial outcome. Security and protection remain critical pillars of this entire operation, with banks implementing heightened precautions for the safety of both the institution and the holder. Every single note entering the official system is meticulously tracked and recorded. Every transaction is documented, and all exchanges are processed exclusively through secure, dedicated digital pathways. This rigorous level of oversight is designed to decisively prevent the circulation of counterfeit notes, thwart unauthorized exchanges, and eliminate all potential fraudulent activity. Furthermore, this structure ensures that the rates applied are legitimate and that the holder's entire transaction is protected under the full weight of banking law and regulation. Over the years, the community has understandably expressed concerns about the risks of being misled, underpaid, or manipulated by unofficial, non-verified brokers. With the advent of these new official structured updates, those specific risks are being drastically reduced. The mandatory verification process guarantees the authenticity of the notes, the comprehensive documentation, ensures traceability, and a clear audit trail, and the exclusive use of official channels guarantees fairness and adherence to established legal standards. For long-term holders who have awaited a clear, secure, and transparent pathway, this fully updated system provides exactly that structure, restoring power to the authorized holder through organization and verifiable process. Crucially, the changes we are witnessing are not localized. They are indicative of a coordinated global movement. When major banking institutions across diverse international regions simultaneously update their internal protocols related to specific currencies, it is an unmistakable sign of high-level international coordination. This is precisely the pattern currently observed. Global liquidity indicators are universally reflecting a marked increase in activity for both the dinar and the dong. Market analysts are dedicating a level of scrutiny to these two currencies not seen in many years. Forex networks are making visible adjustments to rate displays, and international holders are consistently reporting similar procedural updates from their respective banks in various countries. This type of synchronized worldwide financial movement is a rarity that almost never occurs without substantial, organized coordination behind the scenes. When currencies achieve this kind of global visibility, it naturally contributes to greater value stabilization, a substantial increase in liquidity, and a corresponding rise in international demand. For holders, this synchronized movement translates into excellent news. Increased global recognition means exchanges will be smoother and more readily available, higher liquidity means faster and more reliable processing, and stronger demand establishes better long-term market prospects. This is undeniably a major global movement that is actively reshaping how the international financial community perceives and handles these two once overlooked currencies. The holder community itself has entered a state of unprecedented activity and focus. Online groups are buzzing with genuine updates, practical tips, and verifiable personal reports. Holders are sharing their organizational strategies for preparing their notes, and early anecdotal reports from banking contacts are being posted across various forums. This surge in activity on a global scale is a strong organic indicator that people are sensing and responding to genuine momentum. It is exceptionally rare for a community to activate at this sustained high level unless something truly operational is unfolding behind the scenes of the financial world. Holders are diligently taking inventory, gathering their required documentation, and preparing methodically for the complex process that lies ahead. This current atmosphere contrasts sharply with past years, where uncertainty and misinformation often spread unchecked. Today's updates are being communicated with a new level of clarity, structure, and consistency. The community is not reacting to vague speculation, they are responding directly to verified operational changes taking place within the banking ecosystem itself. This critical difference is what separates the current reality from all prior instances of anticipation. The foundation of this shift is real action, and that action is compelling a structured response from every organized holder preparing to participate in the process now being made available. As this process evolves, several common holder questions must be addressed. First, while smaller notes can certainly be exchanged, banks are likely to prioritize the processing of larger denominations initially, as this helps manage the high volume during the rollout's early stages. Second, walking into a bank without an appointment is generally not recommended. Large-scale exchanges require significant time for verification and often need manager approval, necessitating a scheduled slot. Third, the expected processing time is generally estimated to be a few business days, though this will inevitably vary based on current demand and the specific bank's capacity. Fourth, regarding rates, authorized holders may be eligible for contracted rates that offer protection against market swings, a key feature for maintaining stability and predictable liquidity during the rollout. Finally, a crucial detail: if changes in the market occur after a holder has submitted notes for exchange, banks typically lock in the exchange rate at the moment the notes are officially submitted for processing, not at the time the holder walks in or when the process is completed. This measure is a significant protection for the holder against sudden adverse market fluctuations. Understanding these practical details is essential for approaching the exchange process with the necessary confidence and clarity. As the process gains traction, we fully anticipate that more banks will join the participation effort following the standard financial transition rollout model. Major currency transitions typically unfold in a staggered rollout. The largest, most technologically advanced banks activate their internal systems first. Following this initial phase, regional and national banks align their own systems and procedures. Finally, smaller local community banks begin to offer the same services. This phased, careful approach is essential for controlling liquidity, managing the immense demands of currency verification, and preventing the entire system from being overwhelmed by a sudden rush of activity. Given that the Dinar and Dong are moving in a coordinated dual wave, this careful expansion is even more critical to ensure that every note processed is legitimate and that confusion is minimized. This measured expansion also serves the vital function of market stabilization. A sudden, massive influx of currency being exchanged can create unnecessary volatility. The phased approach, conversely, ensures a steady, organized, and controlled flow of financial movement. Holders who meticulously prepare their holdings and remain fully informed about the expanding network of participating banks will position themselves most advantageously to benefit from the growing access and increasing institutional confidence. The steady expansion is a sign of managed transition, not a delay. Looking ahead, the current improvements in visibility, liquidity, and international recognition are establishing a strong foundation for the broader global integration of both currencies. As the number of participating banks grows, an increasing number of international regions will be compelled to adjust their Forex infrastructure to accommodate the Dinar and the Dong with greater ease. This will result in smoother international transactions, stronger confidence among market participants, and a more consistent global demand for both currencies. Long-term holders who maintained their conviction in the potential of these currencies may be approaching the realization of their patient strategy, and new market observers may start paying attention as the currency landscape rapidly evolves. The next few weeks promise to be exceptionally dynamic, potentially bringing further official updates, necessary rate adjustments, and expanded institutional access. What is unfolding is only the initial stage of a much larger financial transformation, based on the coordinated and verifiable actions currently taking place inside the major financial systems. 2025 is rapidly shaping up to be one of the most important and historically significant years in the modern financial history of both the Iraqi Dinar and the Vietnamese Dong. The institutional commitment is clear, the operational steps are being taken, and the process is accelerating, effective. You're putting your knowledge to tangible action. Start by meticulously organizing all your currency holdings within a clean, protective folder or dedicated envelope, separating them clearly by denomination. Every note should be flattened, free of wrinkles, and stored securely. Next, create a simple, comprehensive record of your holdings, detailing denominations, quantities, and their serial numbers. This record is invaluable for staying organized and provides a critical backup reference during the formal exchange process. Third, gather all necessary personal and supporting documents, including your government ID, passport, and any original proof of purchase or source of funds. Banks appreciate holders who present a clean, organized, and well-documented portfolio, as it significantly speeds up their verification process. Fourth, be prepared to allocate sufficient time for your scheduled exchange appointment. Avoid the temptation to rush. A calm, meticulous, and organized approach ensures that every instruction is followed precisely and accurately. Finally, rigidly avoid any speculation or misinformation, relying only on verified updates from your authorized bank or official Forex-linked system announcements. Preparation is not about haste. It is a dedicated commitment to accuracy and organization, which will ensure the smoothest possible exchange outcome. A major factor fueling current confidence is the demonstrably growing alignment between Forex systems and major banking networks. When these two massive sectors move in parallel, it is the most reliable indicator of official high-level coordination. Forex networks are adjusting their internal activity metrics, banks are implementing new, specific internal protocols, and financial monitoring systems are tracking the movement of these currencies with heightened scrutiny. This degree of synchronization does not manifest unless a significant underlying change is in progress. Many financial observers interpret this alignment as part of a larger global effort to modernize currency handling and enhance digital tracking capabilities worldwide. Given the substantial global community of Dinar and Dong holders, it is a logical outcome that they would be early beneficiaries of these sweeping infrastructural upgrades. This current movement may also foreshadow future integration with emerging digital currency platforms, sophisticated international settlement systems, and advanced verification technology. The world's financial architecture is rapidly becoming more interconnected, and these upgrades are a clear reflection of that evolution. For the holders, this means a definitive increase in security, much faster processing times, and a new era of transparency. In essence, the global system is finally catching up to the legitimate needs that holders have expressed for many years. While the excitement within the community is understandably high, maintaining a grounded and patient perspective is absolutely essential. Major currency transitions are complex, long-term endeavors, and the initial wave of movement often involves varying speeds of activation. Some major banks may be ready to execute exchanges immediately, while others may require additional time to fully implement and test their updated systems. Rates may experience minor fluctuations as the necessary liquidity is built up, and processing times will naturally vary based on regional demand. Patience, however, is a non-negotiable asset. Rushing into unofficial, unverified, or high-risk exchanges is completely unnecessary now that an organized process is forming. The official process is becoming more structured, more organized, and demonstrably more accessible every day. The key to a successful exchange remains adherence to official instructions, vigilant awareness of new updates, and avoiding emotional, knee-jerk decisions. Holders who commit to patience, discipline, and informed preparation will be in the strongest possible position to realize the full benefit of this monumental financial shift. We are, without a doubt, witnessing the earliest stages of a comprehensive financial wave. The complete transformation will require time to fully materialize, but every coordinated step being taken today is systematically preparing the global system for the significant financial activity that is yet to come. Experienced community, voices, and analysts are universally delivering a consistent message: remain patient, stay organized, and work exclusively through authorized channels. The emphasis on authenticity checks, meticulous documentation, and avoiding all unofficial brokers is now more critical than ever, precisely because the banking system is finally moving towards structured, verifiable processes. Holders who maintain a calm focus and follow these officially sanctioned steps will experience the greatest benefit and security. Now that major financial systems are undeniably shifting, this advice perfectly aligns with the new operational reality. This is not about generating hype, it is about engaging in thorough, actionable preparation that is backed by real, visible movement inside the global financial infrastructure. The next expected phase of this structured process will likely involve two key developments: expanded access for smaller denominations of both currencies, and a marked increase in participation from regional and local banks. As global liquidity continues to build, publicly available exchange rates may begin to stabilize and reflect the enhanced market activity. The initial focus on large denomination notes was a necessary strategy to manage volume and maintain accuracy during the critical setup phase. Once this initial stage is complete, smaller notes will begin to move more freely within the system. This planned two-stage rollout has been successfully implemented in other international currency transitions, ensuring a structure that benefits both the banks and the individual holders. The central benefit of this methodical approach is the assurance that every single note is processed securely, accurately, and consistently. Holders who have waded through many years of inaction can now take genuine comfort in knowing that the official system is finally and definitively preparing for their full participation. The foundation for this change is being laid, the critical doors are opening, and each day seems to bring new verifiable signs of progress. As we move further into the next stage of 2025, the expectation is for more official public communication, greater bank involvement, and more visible, tangible changes within the global Forex landscape. The recognition that is currently taking place is not a random market anomaly, it is intentional and coordinated. Banks do not undertake massive system-wide updates without a clear cause. Forex channels do not activate new currency pathways without specific high-level coordination. And global financial platforms do not begin tracking dormant currencies unless significant movement is already underway or imminent. These combined changes reflect a deep structural shift in the global financial infrastructure. Currencies that were once viewed as marginal are now demanding and receiving serious institutional attention. And the holders who long believed in the potential, the Dinar and the Dong, are moving closer to seeing the results of their extraordinary patience. This moment is a rare financial event, a generational transformation that is unfolding in real time for those who are watching closely. To synthesize all the critical information, the movement currently observed is distinct from anything the Dinar and Dong communities have experienced in recent memory. Banks are actively preparing, Forex systems are fully engaged, holders are organizing their assets, and global liquidity is undeniably shifting. This powerful confluence of factors strongly signals the beginning of a major financial transformation. The preparatory steps that every holder takes now will directly and critically influence the outcome and experience of their exchange. Remain organized, work exclusively through official channels, eliminate unnecessary risks, and above all, maintain discipline and patience as the complete financial system continues its formal activation process. The community is closer now to this milestone than it has ever been. In conclusion, the key takeaways from today's updates are clear and undeniable. First, both the Iraqi Dinar and Vietnamese Dong are now being officially acknowledged and processed by major international banks with an unprecedented level of commitment. Second, official, authorized financial channels are actively updating, activating, and preparing for large-scale, high-volume exchanges. Third, holders now possess a clear, structured roadmap for action. Verify your notes, gather all documentation, schedule your bank appointments, and commit to working solely through authorized pathways. Fourth, specialized contracted rates may be available for early, verified holders, offering vital protection and stability against market fluctuations. Fifth, the entire process is rapidly becoming more secure, more organized, and significantly more transparent than ever before. Sixth, the global coordination evident in this movement confirms this is far from a minor domestic update. It is an undeniable part of a worldwide financial shift in currency management. And finally, seventh, disciplined patience is the most valuable asset a holder can possess, as it ensures the smoothest and most protected exchange process. As additional updates continue to emerge, holders who have prepared wisely will find themselves optimally positioned to benefit from this once-in-a-lifetime financial moment. The coming weeks will be crucial. New developments are expected to appear suddenly, and exchange procedures will continue to evolve rapidly. Banks will likely expand their official participation, and Forex networks will consistently adjust their tracking systems to reflect the increased activity. As this financial movement accelerates, the singular focus for all holders must be on readiness, clarity, and proper documentation. Disregard all distractions, ignore unverified rumors, and trust in the organized, verifiable process that is unfolding right now. The institutional recognition being demonstrated in 2025 marks a definitive turning point, a moment where the global financial system finally acknowledges the legitimate potential of two currencies that have been held in waiting for years. As this recognition solidifies and grows, so too will the opportunities for all holders who executed a strategy of patient preparation. With everything confirmed today, one overarching message resonates above all others: the long wait is finally coming to an end. For every holder of the Iraqi Dinar, for every holder of the Vietnamese Dong, and for everyone who has maintained hope through years of pervasive uncertainty, this is your moment of confirmation. The global system is shifting, major banks are demonstrably ready, Forex networks are active and coordinating, and global finance is responding in real, structural ways. What happens in the next phase has the potential to be truly historic. The methodical steps you take right now will shape your specific experience as you proceed with your exchange. Remain prepared, stay alert, and maintain complete confidence in the organized process. Because all of the verifiable evidence points toward one singular, undeniable truth: the movement is real, it is structured, and it is happening now.